what is productivity? So if we define that, it's a measure of effectiveness of a resource in converting inputs into useful outputs. So I've highlighted useful here. So it's not just about creating outputs, it's about creating useful outputs. So what is a useful output? It's somebody in the next step of the process needs that to complete their work. If you're doing something that the next person in the process doesn't need, it's not a useful output. I see this again all the time with reports. I go in the company, it's like, okay, they're generating all these reports. And is anybody looking at them? That's a good question. So I say, okay, stop sending the report. And then see how many people come back and say, hey, where's that report that you usually send out every Monday? I didn't get it. You'll be surprised on how many people don't respond because nobody's looking at the reports. So why are we generating that information? Those are simple examples where we can see, okay, just stop doing these activities. And of course, that's busy work if nobody's using it. Useful outputs are defined as the necessary and sufficient inputs as defined by the next step in the process, what we call the customer. So the customer defines what the needs are, and so the outputs are designed to satisfy those customer needs. Then those outputs are the input to the process. So what do we need to satisfy the customer needs? The process needs to be designed to achieve those outputs. And likewise, the process defines what inputs we need. So the inputs are defined by the process, and then the inputs, of course, go back to the supplier and what we need from them to satisfy. And again, each step of the process, we're adding value to satisfy the customer needs. And so we're talking about necessary and sufficient. So what's the difference between the two? Necessary is something that the next process needs to complete their work. Sufficient means it needs to be correct. We see unnecessary activities that are going on because nobody's using that output of the process. And we also see insufficient outputs where the quality isn't correct. And so rework has to happen, or we put in another process step to overcome the insufficiency in the previous step. And that's where we start to build all these unnecessary steps in the process. We want to reverse that and say we need less steps in the process.